Shalom, Laha Alahayim, peace to the gods. Nawathan, Kal, Halalium La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Hakodash. Giving all praises to Yahweh, in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, elder bishops, and the head elders of all the camps of Great Millstone GMS who do well. Salutations, peace, and blessings to the Bayath Dawada, or Dawayad, the house of David, which consists of the predestined spirits of election, the elect, starting with the governing body in the kingdom to come, 144,000, 12,000 men, prophets, all right, of each tribe of Israel, and the remaining innumerable multitude scattered abroad. This is your brother Tazapanya, Banyamyan, of the Sons of Yashala camp, out here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, offshoot affiliate camp of Great Millstone GMS, Lord willing, I don't want to write the This is edifying unto the elect, straight to the point. All right, spiritual commentary as usual. So as you can see here, it says it's happening, the downfall of America. Billionaires cash out. This is on this is John Williams. Okay. And like I have in the topic of this video, James 5 is literally popping off right now. It's jumping off the pages, man. You feel me? The prophecies is jumping out the window. You feel me? Now, we at a time, matter of fact, let me put it like this. Lord prophesy, he said he declared the end from the beginning. Remember that scripture? Okay. So what that means is what? That he gave us the prophecies to look out for, to show his coming of his son, which his name is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right? Because the Lord is not for America. He is against America, because America is Babylon the Great. It has reincarnated the same spirits of all these ancient wicked civilizations and kingdoms, okay, and made it a jambalaya of abominations, a wicked stew, so to speak, man. All right, and her sins has reached up into heaven, like it says in Revelation 18. So without further ado, let's listen to this video and close it all out.
What's up, guys? John here. Last week, Elon Musk issued a warning to the world about the collapse of the dollar due to horrible...
Now, let me read that, okay? Because on my channel, I
What's up, guys?
have
John here. Last
talked
week,
about XRP. Now it's on Forbes. This is mainstream media owned by the JOOs, man. Okay? It says the dollar will be worth nothing. Elon Musk, who is controlled opposition, issues stark Fed warning as stealth money printing grinds Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP price higher. Okay? So they're about to, hyperinflation is coming. Okay? Because what is hyperinflation? It basically is the devaluing of the dollar, and they do that by printing more money out of thin air, and there is no GDP to catch up with it because of globalization, because of their greed. The love of money is the root of all evil. Since the 80s, they have been pushing their industries outside of America. There's no more manufacturing in America, so that they don't have to pay you no benefits and PTO and health insurance, you know, because all the and child labor laws and all that. You see what I'm saying? So, because America's not making anything as it used to be, all right, because it's a consumer nation now. But notice, like I said about XRP, which is the number one, the first cryptocurrency to be under the ISO 222 standardization, meaning it's the one that worked with the government first, man. Okay, and Catherine Fitz came out saying that XRP's father company, Ripple, it was working with DARPA, the American Defense Department, all right, and Ripple and the Naval Intelligence in Denmark to create a microchip compatible with Ripple technology, XRP, which I believe, as a man, is going to be the infrastructure for all of the central bank digital currencies around the world. because they literally have a blueprint for it, and central banks are actually working with Ripple to create their own central bank digital currencies.
Elon Musk issued a warning to the world about the collapse of the dollar due to horrible policies and ever-growing debt.
U.S. government debt is now the highest in history.
That's decades worth of government spending, things like Medicaid and other health care, the U.S. military, food stamps, and other benefits.
It's now more than $34 trillion. Many worry that a confluence of factors is going to send the U.S. into a debt spiral.
Our balance sheet is getting out of control, and he believes it's going to lead America to see our downfall. Now, if it were just Elon Musk, I would say, maybe he's wrong. But then you have Janet Yellen saying the same thing. Jerome Powell saying the same thing. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, just issued this warning. And to add all this up, you look at one clear picture, that the world's most successful hedge fund manager, Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater and Associates, in 2013, his company was the most successful private equity firm on planet Earth. He came out with a book. He wrote this book called The Changing World Order. Now, I believe they put this in front of us to normalize this. So when this does happen, which I believe is going to happen, everyone's already kind of expecting it. And so look at this. What are the odds? Right? What are the odds? This multi-billionaire who writes this book, I mean, he made his money by betting on trends, by betting on the way in which the world's moving. He wrote this book. A few years ago, Ray Dalio noticed a confluence of political and economic conditions he hadn't encountered before. They include huge debts and zero or near zero interest rates that led to massive money printing in the world's three major reserve currencies, big political and social conflicts within countries, especially the U.S. due to the largest wealth, political, and values disparity in more than 100 years, and the rising of world power, China, to challenge existing world power, U.S., and the existing world order. The last time this confluence occurred between 1930 and 1945. And essentially, in this book, he goes on to say that we're walking into the big cycle, which is...
So look, he basically saying the last time that these world powers was coming into succession, what happened between 1930 and 1945? World War II, the Second Woe. Okay? So if the same thing is happening now, remember the scriptures say in Ecclesiastes, right? There is nothing new under the sun. Let's see if I can find it real quick so we can move on. I don't want to get this too long because I actually got to go to camp. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. You see? So what is coming again because of what happened a world war. But this is going to be the war to end all wars. You see what I'm saying? The scriptures say that there was fighting of confused noise. I'm roughly paraphrasing here, but this time it's going to be a fuel of fire. So it's going from conventional warfare to nuclear warfare. All right.
He brings readers along for a study of the major empires, including Dutch, the British, and the American, putting into perspective the big cycle.
Now look, the Dutch, the British, and the American were major empires. Okay. Why? Because they had you Israelites in slavery. Okay. You see that? The first stock and bond was you livestock, making livestock of you bondsmen and bondswomen. You see? Remember the what was it? The Dutch East India, whatever. But y'all, them European nations was in slavery, doing they dirt, It
has driven the successes and failures of all world major countries throughout history. So why would he be putting this in front of us? Why would Elon Musk and the IMF and the Fed be saying the same exact thing? It's because this is what is coming to America. And I believe as this does unfold, we're going to see so many people rushing in, buying farmland, buying gold, buying silver, buying tin. They're going to be buying things that they believe will grow in value against the dollar over the coming.
But see, the funny thing is, the scriptures say the prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. How are you going to hide yourself physically with farmland, whether it be you getting it for bunkers and gold and things of that? See, what's coming cannot be stopped. In Second Esdras, it talks about who can stop a bow an arrow shot from a strong archer? It's a rhetorical question. And the man he's talking about is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You see? So the only thing that's going to hide you, that's going to save you, the covering to hide you from what's to come, is this truth. You see? Being of the elect.
Decade. And in this video, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you exactly what is happening with BRICS nations right now, exactly where this world is headed, and exactly what you can do about it. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. People share this content to educate the people about what's going on. Today's video is sponsored by Iber-American, but more on that in just a little bit. Take a look at this. So, and this is shocking. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says to expect a gradual decline in the dollar share of global reserves. The greenback remains dominant. Then, U.S. debt spiral, crisis fears. After Bank of America issues shocking $1 trillion in every 100 days warning. You have IMF saying prepare for the dollar collapse. Now, what's very fascinating is how fast BRICS nations are growing, and how I believe over the last several years, we basically handed over our power and authority to BRICS nations. So, I mean, look at this.
No, that was all of the Lord. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Okay? And remember, he setteth up kingdoms. All right? As it, you know, so I'm kind of jumping line for line off the top of my dome right now. But y'all know them scriptures. That one is in Daniel, that how he set up kingdoms and then he set it up the bases of men over this one that we're in, Esau, Edom. All right. And in Proverbs, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So he's made these elite, all right, do this type of thing, like you said, hand it over, so to speak, to BRICS. All right. They have to cause that chaos, that polar shift, economic polar shift, in order to bring about the new world order, Ordo ab Chaos.
You have 40% of the world population already trying to get into the BRICS. 40%. You have Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran, Argentina, Algeria, Bolivia, Indonesia, Egypt, Ethiopia, Cuba, Democratic Republic of Congo, Comoros. I mean, look at this. It's shocking. You have Kazakhstan, Gabon expressed interest in joining. Then you have, just a couple days ago, 2 days ago, you have North Korea. They want to join, right? So you have all these countries joining, and as they're joining, you have China selling dollars. They're selling dollars and they're stacking gold at basically the highest rate they've done in a very, very, very long time. It's like off the charts right now. Why is this unfolding at this rate? Well, this trend is worth keeping an eye on. China's gold trading volumes have seen a big spike. Moreover, their central bank has been rapidly accumulating gold. These are very positive developments for precious metal, right? So this is unfolding. And as this is unfolding, a clear move for America and for these G7 nations is going to push, I believe, the dollar further down and our debt loads further up and interest rates much, much higher. This all connects perfectly. My first ever investment in this commodity. Talk about...
Let's skip that. Damn, most of the... Here we go.
Said in a 2022 report that spending on an energy and land use systems and a net zero transition would cost an average of $9.2 trillion per year between 2021 and 2050, which is an annual increase of about $3.5 trillion per year for the current spending levels. So you see clearly what's going to happen. We're going to print more money, and we're going to see more countries looking to de-risk themselves. Interestingly, all of these BRIC nations, what are they doing? They are going to be capitalizing on this trend. You know, you look at China, they're investing heavily in coal. They have all of this, they basically own the periodic table. They have all of this resource, all this cheap labor. They have all of these countries uniting. And then you have all of the disruption that's happening with higher taxes, more expense, more costs, all across the board, here in America, here in Canada, and here in all these other countries. So what is that going to happen? Well, we're going to see this continue. Joe Biden is giving first-time homebuyers $400 a month for 2 years. So President Biden is giving $400 a month to first-time buyers for 2 years, right? Then, on top of this, they're going to be issuing loans, $980 billion worth of these loans on home equity lines of credit all throughout America in the next couple months. Now, they say this is going to go up to $2 trillion by the autumn. $2 trillion. Now, I saw that. I'm like, that's a lot of money. How are we going to afford that? Then, a day later, 1 day later, they said, no, forget 2 trillion, 3 trillion. We're going to give $3 trillion, and it's not going to, it's not going to hurt the economy. It's not going to impact inflation. How could this not impact inflation when you put $3 trillion in the hands of Americans right now that are heavily in debt and that are facing a higher cost of living than ever before? Of course, it's going to have some type of impact, inflationary impact. And so what I believe what we're walking into is going to be this scenario. We're going to see more countries looking at, for example, looking at America differently, and more countries that America is going to be bailing out as well. So, for example, Japan. You've heard what happened with the yen. This is just a couple of days ago. Apparently, the U.S. bails out Japan. And the Bank of Japan has been struggling to defend the Japanese yen from debasement over the first 4 months of the year as the pressure of higher interest rates begins to crack the facade of 30 years of heavy monetary intervention. Why would they be bailing out? Why would they be bailing out Japan? Well, the answer to that is quite clear. The answer to this is that Japan owns $1.1 trillion worth of our debt. That's why. And so if they did not bail out Japan, Japan would have likely dumped a ton of T-bills, and they would have sold a lot of our debt. And they would have sold this debt at a horrible time because we need to sell so much debt in the coming couple of years. And the number is $11 trillion every year for the next 5.5 years. That's what we need to sell. So we're going to start to see more and more craziness. For example, it's shocking. Look at Barry Sternlicht. He is the CEO and founder of Starwood Capital. They have $115 billion worth of real estate, one of the biggest real estate investors in America. He issued a warning 3 days ago, saying that he expects weekly bank closures because of higher interest rates.
So don't be surprised if every week now we start to see, whether it be smaller banks, but you're going to see the news, oh, this bank is going under and has got overtook by the FDIC every week. Imagine that, hearing a bank every week, boom, 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 and getting bought out by the bigger banks. Big bank take little bank.
And then when you scroll down this article, is it one a week? How many is this? He's saying you're going to see a regional bank fail every day or not every week, maybe 2 a week. That's what he's saying. Look at what's happening in Canada, for example. Look at this. Look at this.
This could increase the risk of a sharp correction that could generate system-wide stress. At the same time, the valuations of some financial assets appear to have become stretched.
So what's happened with this lower interest rate environment is a lot of banks issued a lot of loans. They made a lot of very, very bad investments. A lot of investors.
You see, and this is why I'm going to go get Ecclesiasticus real quick and then continue to play it. We almost done. We almost out of here. Literally. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 8. It reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So these people don't even deal righteously, man. They know you can't pay back this and that and the third, but they're giving you the money anyway on some deception type shit. You see what I'm saying? And allow you to live this type of a fake American dream. It turns out to be an American nightmare, but they leave you to die while they save the bigger banks that they need in order to keep this illusion. Devils cannot rule, man. You see what I'm saying? And this is why the men of the Lord is in preparatory school right now for world rulership, man. You understand? You understand?
Real estate syndicators, a lot of property owners bought properties thinking that everything was going to be great. We're going to return back to normal. Then they're increasing interest rates at the fastest pace ever and basically pulling the rugs underneath regional banks all throughout America, all throughout Canada, pulling them throughout syndicators, throughout homeowners, property owners, real estate investors. It's just rug pulling basically everybody. And as this rug pull is unfolding, what's going to happen? You're going to see people, institutions, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds looking for ways in which they can hide and protect and preserve their wealth inside of this massive transition. That's what we're in right now. We're in a massive, massive transition. And look at this, for example. just a couple days ago, all throughout America, this is on the National Association of Home Builders website. By the 28th of this month, May 28th, all new buildings are going to be changing, all new construction. So for homes, I mean, look, 18 months after the effective date, there will be multifamily projects. I mean, this is going to be $30,000 and $31,000 per unit is what they say in additional cost. So you look at this. What is going to be the big winner here? What's going to be the big player? How is this all?
So you see, yeah, man, that's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Construction prices going to go up for the materials, and they're going to have to lead a layoff. A bunch of layoffs is coming, bro.
All going to work. Now, what I believe is going to happen is I believe we're going to see a lot of money flowing into commodities. I believe commodities are going to really perform extremely well. And the reason I believe that is because when you look at all these new energy mandates, you look at what's happening with electric vehicles. They say the S&P Global Mobility forecast electric vehicle sales in the United States could reach 40% of total passenger cars in the next 5.5 years. And they say that last year was just 8%. So you're going to see a massive, and they're targeting 70%. By 2032, the emission standards dictate that roughly 70% of new vehicle sales will be battery-powered, electric, and hybrids. Even President Biden is mandating that electric vehicles, they have to sell a certain amount every single year. So I believe we're going to see a lot of movement in solar, a lot of movement in electric vehicles, in all of these commodities that are going to essentially be the beneficiaries of all of this benefit are going to do very, very, very well. But now, fascinatingly, China, they say that China is going to be moving into this transition as well, and they're going to be going green. But, look, it doesn't really seem that way. In China's coal country, full steam ahead with new power plants despite these pledges. Then, driven by China, coal plants made a comeback. This is the last month. China's new coal power spree continues as more provinces jump on the bandwagon. China and India are building this is what.
So notice, they probably, man. Let's go to Obadiah. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. All right, where is it at? Where are you, book of Obadiah? Right here. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy. All right, when you go to Psalms 83, Moab is one of the ones that's in confederate with the tabernacles of Edom. Okay, it says, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that they eat thy bread. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. You see, so they was like, yeah, we're gonna go green. We're gonna do the social credit score. Now they're doing the coal now, and this green energy deal is just gonna bankrupt and destroy America. You see what I'm saying? So these Edomites is through, bro. They completely through, and house is getting divided against itself.
What's going to happen? They're going to have the cheapest energy. They're going to have the cheapest labor, the cheapest cost of living. They're going to have access to a much more affordable living style of living, and they're going to be the ones that I believe are going to basically dominate the coming 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, and onward. It's going to be India, China. It's going to be these BRICS nations, and unfortunately, our living standards here seem like we're walking into the end of this. America's land of the free, home of the brave, land of opportunity. It doesn't look like that anymore. I believe the beneficiary of a lot of this change is going to be the tin market. I saw this article, came out last month, said a squeeze risk building in the tin market.
All right, that's pretty much it, though.
It's getting...
So I'm going to end off on this James 5 and verse 1, and it reads, go to now, ye rich men. And the rich men is representative of Esau, like when you go to the parable of what's the name, Lazarus, right, and the rich men. So it's specifically talking about the Amalekites and the elite, the international banking families. It says, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you, and they know misery is coming. You see what I'm saying? This is why they're making irrational decisions right now. It says your riches are corrupted, and they know they're corrupted. You see what I'm saying? This is why. Why? Because they have been dealing unrighteously. You see, Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 8. And riches got by deceit. Any type of riches got by deceit is corrupted. You see? It says, and your garments are moth-eaten, your gold and silver is cankered. All right. And this, hence all this debt and things of that nature. All right. And the rust of them shall be a witness against you. So the fact that this place is inflation is hitting, it's a witness, it's a testimony against these people that have ruled the world unjustly. All right. It says, and shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Hence, how he had it. He didn't really talk about it though, but the cash out of all these big billionaires and all of that, because they know this is the end. All right. The end of America is pretty much the end of everything. All right. Because that's when, prophetically speaking, Yahweh Shah is coming to set up his kingdom. So, Lord willing, I was edifying to the elect. On to the next one. Shalom.